Hi everyone, it's Bee here at Little Miss Bee Crafts. I hope you're all well. I'm come on today to show you different ways to stretch your dies. Okay, so I know I've done a kind of a series on stencils, and I thought I'd just come on today to show you how to use a flower die in different ways to get different looks, and to stretch your stash so that you know it doesn't look like the same die that you're using. Now these dies, I can't remember which where I've got them from, but they're just a basic flower die. They're nothing special. You can use them for mats and things like that, you know, for matting, layering and frames and things like that. So we've got a larger die there, and it goes down to obviously this smaller die here. I'm not going to use that. I'm not going to use the bigger one, so I'm getting that out of the way. And the range, the larger one is 3.5 inches, and the smaller one, the smallest one that I'm going to use is 1.25. Okay, so it's just a little video on how to stretch your stash and to get different looks from your dies, so that it's not all the same look that you're getting. And I hope the camera's okay today. It's been playing up a bit, so I've got it on a different setting, I think, so hopefully this video will be okay. Okay, so I've already cut out several die shapes in the different, from the 3.5 down to the 1.25. This is just basic copy of paper, cheap copy of paper, nothing, you know, nothing special. This is cheap watercolor paper. Again, nothing special. I think it was from the Works in a watercolor paper pad. It's not the best, but for doing something like this, I think it's okay. And I've also cut some out of some designer paper that I had, you know, scrapbook paper and some old paper, and I just thought the colours on it might be quite nice. As you can see, it's some old Craftwork card paper pad that I had, so I thought I'll use that as well. And we're going to do something with that paper as well. Okay, so to start off with, I'm going to start with the watercolour paper. Okay, and I've already started to do some different techniques with this paper. Okay, so this is using brush-os, and if you don't know what brush-os are, they're small tubs like this. You don't get that in the top. They come in a box. This is the box. I've got a box of 12, and it's called Crystal Colour Sorted Pack of 12 brush-os, and you can use them in any way. They're very highly, I think, pigmented colours, and they come in these little pots. Like I said, you don't get these. This is just a push pin, and this is the easiest way to use them. Okay, I haven't actually opened the seal or anything. I've just pushed a hole in with a pin and then use it like a salt shaker, okay, to actually shake them out. This one is dark brown, and the dark brown has got like blues in it as well. It's got a different, so basically all I've done is wet the watercolour paper. Okay, I just wanted to see what kind of designs I could get and what colours I could get. Okay, so this is basically, I wet the paper and then shook the and as you can see, it's great because you don't get too much coming out. Okay, if there is any coming out, I think there is coming out. I think you don't. There we go. So you don't really see it until you actually put the water on it, and then you see. Can you see how that spreads? The water spreads the colour and makes it more intense wherever you want it. Okay, so on this one I've used the brown. I've also used the ultramarine. Okay, and I've also used the turquoise. Sorry, turquoise, that's the dark brown. So I've used the turquoise as well. Okay, so this is one way in which I'm going to use. You could just have put them on the board and you could have wet it and then but I thought this way, when I've finished, I'll have this lovely paper as well that I can dry off and use as more flowers. Okay, and then all I've done is I've took my watercolour cutout sheets, okay, and I've started with a few of the larger ones. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the smaller and medium ones. So all I've done is just wet the paper, the watercolour paper, and then all I've done is just laid it on top. Now you will get inky fingers, so if you don't want inky fingers, just use maybe use tweezers to put them down, you know, if you don't want a lot of inky fingers. And as you can see, that colour transfers, and it's not as intense obviously as what's on the paper, but you're getting this lovely mottled kind of random colour. Okay, so you can see, I might try and put a little bit more blue on that one because it's getting a bit dark. Okay, so that's all I've done for these ones. So I'm just going to lay them down again. If you forget to wet the paper, I think it will still transfer, but obviously it's not going to be. It depends how wet this paper is as well. That one's come out okay actually. So just play around and just see the different techniques, what you want to do. That one's got a lot of the blues on it. I've not really got many browns on that one. Okay, so you're going to get different effects. You know, whether the paper's wet, whether the paper was dry when you put it on. As you can see, that was dry paper, so it's picked up quite, you know, it's picked it up quite. I hope I'm in shot here, everybody. Yep, so just play around and just see, you know, what kind of effect you want and what colours you want, if you want more of the brown, and obviously you don't have to use these colours, you can use whatever colours you want, but brush shows, if you've not used them, are absolutely fantastic, and they give you such different looks, and the actual colours, I just think it's magic when you actually put, you know, you sprinkle it down and then you put the water on it, and just the spread of it, it's like magical. It's like, I don't know, it's like magic to me. I love the different tones you can get and the different effects that you can get as well. Okay, so that's some of the paper that I'm going to be using, and then I'll dry this off obviously. I'll dry this one off. Yep, so that's one technique that I'm going to use for the paper that I want to use for these. Okay, so that was the brush show. Okay, so I'm just going to move this across and then use my tissue to maybe get some of those. Okay, so now, and obviously when you can see it's really pigmented and you do get very inky fingers. I'm going to use the watercolour again, and this time I'm going to use gelatos. So I just had a play around off camera just so I'm not wasting time, and I found that if you've got any kind of, you don't have to have one of these water brushes, not got water in it, but a paintbrush, okay, a new kind of brush, and then I'm using these three colours. There's no colour on this, but like 3 different, you know, shades of orange, pink kind of colours. Okay, and on the outside I'm putting, that's not the darkest one, I am putting the darkest, and this is wet paper again. Okay, so this is one that I tried at the beginning and it wasn't the effect that I wanted really. So yeah, so we're just putting it, the darkest one that you've got, then I'm coming in with this lighter one. Okay, just kind of, you know, making sure that and then for this one I'm just putting the lightest in the middle. Okay, and then wetting it again using my brush. I'm just blending all the colours. Okay, so as you can see, because this is not the best watercolour paper, like I said, this is the cheapest, you know, I didn't want to use anything to because you know, you don't need to, and basically all you're doing then is just kind of blending the colours, and you know, just kind of again, so put the on the outside, and this obviously when this dries as well, it'll be even more different when it dries. Just do that on there, because of the colour, you know, the paper, the way the paper reacts. I'm not going to put as much on that side of that colour. That one doesn't seem to be, I don't know why, but this gelato doesn't seem to be blending as good as that one. And again in the middle. Okay, so just use your paintbrush, you know, whatever water you already got on there, just basically just drag in those colours. Obviously you can always add colour, more colour, really well. Okay, so there are just a few different ways that I'm going to use copy paper, watercolour paper. I've also got some, let me just go and get them, 2 minutes. I was thinking of using, I have used these before on copy paper and it does come out very well. The Tattered Angels Glimmer Mists, and as you can see at the bottom there, again these are water based, so they will work with water. You've got all the mica, and what you're supposed to do is swirl them around, and then you will see, I don't know if you can see, but you'll see the mica mixing and you'll see it going off the bottom. Sometimes you can just give them a tap. Sorry about that, woke everybody up. And now you can see the mica's now gone off the bottom, and it's mixing in with the, I don't know if can you see that swirl? So yeah, so apparently you're supposed to swirl them and not shake. You're supposed to swirl so you get all the mica. Okay, and then just again, I'm just gonna spray, see if I'm getting on the other ones. And then this one, which is cherry, another dark one. Again, sorry about the noise, just get that off the bottom. I've not used these for a while either again, so you know, using different things in your stash just to see. Okay, and then them two are probably quite similar, weren't they? So I don't know if that was but you will get the glimmer, you will get, I'm just gonna, because it's actually gone on these, I'm gonna give them a mist as well. Okay, so